So what we're trying to do is, I hope you already have downloaded that document. It's 183 pages, this one. I think it has more questions. Um, so what we can do, I was just trying to go through that document as well, and there's that, if we just go to the top page and then do Control F. First of all, the version of this document is 2.0 file version. I hope you have the same one, and it has 183 pages. So I hope we are all on the same document here. So please open that document in front of you, or if you have any questions, or if you want me to go a specific way, you can just tell me that. What I've done is I've just opened the document. I'm on the first page. I do Control F on this document, and I just type simulation. So that's it. When I type simulation and click next, so the first simulation comes, then the second simulation comes, and the third one, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and then I just start doing that lab. So is that the format that is okay for you? Are there any suggestions for any other way to do it? Okay. So the first question here, first simulation here is, and I guess yesterday somebody mentioned that it's 22 simulations now instead of 14 or 16. So, okay. So that's the first simulation, and that's the general instructions there, guys. One thing here is to know about the simulations that please wait while the virtual machine loads. Once loaded, you may proceed to the lab section. This may take a few minutes, and the wait time will not be deducted from your overall test time. So keep that in mind, that if it is taking more time to start the machines, that is not deducted. So one of the students who failed 2 times now, and he didn't read that both times, that he was just worried about, okay, wait time is like the machine was starting, and he thought that it is being, so he actually left one question because it was taking too much time. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead. So this is not deducted from overall time. Now this is scoring is based on outcome of performing tasks. Labs are not timed separately, and this exam may have more than one lab. Okay, we get those instructions there. Let's go ahead with the actual thing. So first is lab 6, I think, this, and that is or question 6. So you plan to store media files in this storage account, and you need to configure the storage account to store the media files. The solution must ensure that only users who have access keys can download the media files, and that the files are accessible only over HTTPS. So what should you do from the Azure portal? So guys, this is shared access signature, SAS, that we were talking about, shared access signature. So let's do that. I'm just going to copy this. Okay, so it's going to take some time to create that storage account, but let's get going. So I'm just going to connect to that. And I was doing some kind of exercise there already, that if there are some labs that requires a lot of more steps there, because I haven't gone through everything, so I would just try to do it after the class, or I'll have to figure out as well. I'm not sure what's coming my way, so that's why I'm saying that if it is like that I have to figure out some more steps there, so I'll do that. But since we started, so it's good. So I'm just gonna go for deleting whatever I created there. That's quite a mess there. Allow. And I'll just create one new resource group. Allow Ishan. Delete from resource group. And copy that. Okay. So that's something else I had. Now I'm just gonna grab that document here. Okay, I'll just mute all the mic.
Everyone else is now muted.
So this is the storage account that we need to create, and I'll just go to the storage accounts here, and add, and pay as you go, create new resource group. So I'll just put 29 July 2019 dash resource group RG and press OK. Storage account name. So storage account name is this, yeah. And since they did not mention which region, so I'm just gonna connect to East US. Storage account name is already taken. Obviously, so many people may have done that. So I'm just gonna put the it's a number. So I'll just go for 11 just to create that account. 11 is also to okay, 1122. Okay, so let's get going. East US and this is standard. Okay, allow Ishan. So if I just keep reading that, what are the requirements? So first, create a storage account. You need to configure the storage account to store the media files. The solution must ensure that only users who have access keys can download the media files and that the files are accessible only over HTTPS. So as they also mention here, the steps here, and we can just confirm. Oh, they go directly to files, but we have to still create a storage account there. So it says continue storage account to store the media file. So of course you have to create either a container or a storage file, but they did not say that you have to create a container or you have to create actually a shared folder. So Azure Files will create a shared folders and Blob will create a container. So and SAS can give you access to any one of those. So if we go back to our requirement here, I'm just gonna quickly go ahead with so right now it is on RAGRS and it is performance is standard we're selecting and it's hot tier. Next, advanced, secure transfer required. Now one of the questions will come where if this is selected, then you won't be able to connect or you have. Okay, I'll explain that when it comes, but anyway, I'll keep it enabled right now, but later we may have to disable it just to get the lab done. According to the requirement, it doesn't say secure. Anyway, so let's click next for tags, because right now nothing to do here. Nothing in tags. Review and create. Create. So now the storage account is creating here, and if I just go back to the question, so as soon as storage account gets created, the solution must ensure that only users who have access keys can download. Okay, so access keys are given for storage through that SAS solution there, and yes, that's where the HTTPS only is also we're able to configure. So when we excuse me, when the storage account really gets created, then we can just now this answer is trying to create a file share, which is okay. I mean, like SAS can be configured on both. So storage, how to use files portal, not that's, and then my share. Okay, anyway, when it gets created, then we'll go for that. So once this, I think for all the other labs, this is the same storage account that we're going to be using. So, oh, it's done. Okay, well, I thought it was. So what is this then? Oh, that's still something else going on. So my storage account deployment, so yeah, group 29 was successfully created. So I'm just gonna go to the storage account here, and then this is the storage account. I'm just gonna click that and go inside. So for media files, the users are supposed to have an access keys, right? So there's a shared access key, access signature showing when I go inside the storage account. So guys, I could just go like straight and keep doing it, or shall I wait for you guys are following me? Better I should just show it and record it, right? So is that okay for you? Yeah. Okay, good. So I'll be then trying to go faster, but yeah, we will try to understand. So here, shared access signature, and in the shared access signature, how to give HTTPS only. It is already on HTTPS only, right? And second thing is that how to create that access keys. So it is generate SAS and connection string. If you click that button, so in the exam, click. It is already created there. Click there, right? HTTPS only, and generate that. You have to click that button, and then it says that okay, connection string for blob service. So and file service. If you have created the file service, it has already created that connection string there. If blob service means inside the containers, if you created a container or if you created a shared folder in the file service, in both cases the connection string has been created. So this lab pretty much is that HTTPS only and generate SAS and connection string button has to be pressed. It creates that. Once you've done that, according to exactly the question, you need to configure the storage account to. So it doesn't say that create a shared folder in by going to files and or create a container by going to blob service. It just says that configure the storage account to store the media access media files. It is that if you just spend some more time to create some container there, that's okay, or create just a file share and create a folder inside, that's okay. But it doesn't say that that we create that. So my suggestion is go ahead and create that, and but we don't have to really connect to that. What's the purpose of that? This question is done actually. But if you have any questions, you can ask me, and if you have any comments there, you can ask me. But if you go to the just the objective, this is it. So if you're okay, I'm just gonna go to the next lab there, next simulation, right? So if there are any questions in simulation or any other simulation, please ask me, right? So click next. Actually, I'm gonna do that. So simulation is still written there in the find, and it gets me the second simulation now, and that is if we go further to the actual objectives. So you plan to migrate a large amount of corporate data to Azure storage and to backup files stored on old hardware to Azure storage. So whatever computer you have on in your local branch or on premises, you want to upload it to the Azure storage. So you need to create a storage account named corp data this in the corp data this resource group. Okay, so the storage account has to be separate. So it's a separate storage account in a separate resource group. Okay, the solution must meet the following requirements. This corp data N1 must be able to host the virtual disk files for Azure virtual machines. The cost of accessing the files must be minimized. Replication cost must be minimized. So let's just do that. Now I'll just copy this. It's not the same one, right? So yeah, that's something else. Okay, previous storage account is different. This is different. So I'm going to copy that, and there's that resource group that has to be exactly the same. So let's go back. This means that's another one. So I'll just go for the storage account and click the add button here. And okay, first the resource group has to be mentioned. So I'm just going to go back to resource group, copy that. Oops, create new. Okay, and then the storage account. Okay, it's already there, so 1122 and whatever region, because they did not clearly mention that. Now the objectives are oh, what happened? Yeah, now the objectives are that we put the name there. So corp data N1, which is the storage account, must be able to host the virtual disk files for Azure virtual machines. So when we go to that, so if we go down to standard, first of all, standard is as it says here, standard storage accounts are backed by magnetic drives and provide the lowest cost per GB. They are best for applications that require bulk storage. So premium storage accounts are backed by solid state drives and offer consistent low latency performance. They can only be used with Azure virtual machines. So we click the premium, and then if we go back, the cost of accessing the files must be minimized. Accessing the files must be minimized, so we're gonna just check that. So there are these solutions there, but I'll just go for the third objective first. The replication cost must be minimized. It is already on LRS. right? So it is minimum most replication there. But when we go back to the cost of accessing the files must be minimized as well. So that would be in premium normally the cost is more. So it is for virtual machines, but whatever we can do to minimize that, right? So if we go for more, there are in premium there are many options there. There is storage v2, there is storage general purpose 1, there's block blob storage as well. If you click the block blob storage, this account kind allows you to create Azure block blobs with premium performance characteristics that can be tailored to your needs. Tailored to your needs, yes, but is the cost going to go down? No. So the general purpose would be the lowest cost, and then others would be even more higher performance, so higher cost would be there. So if I just go next advanced here, again then it's secure, but the main thing is that yes, premium is for virtual machines. Second thing, replication is LRS, which is minimized. The cost of accessing the files must be minimized as well. So now I'm just going to try to take that what is the explanation there, what are the other suggestions, because it's kind of straightforward, but any input is always good. So yes, under the storage blah blah blah, we do that, we do that, we do that, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Normally the storage v2 is the lower cost, unless there is another option. There are always other options. So then there's a discussion here as well. Step 6 for account kind, yes, okay, yeah, they're also saying the same thing. And replication, they say RAGRS, but LRS, read access geo-redundant, maximizes availability for your storage account, provides read-only access to the data in secondary, but that is, they're saying the replication cost should be less, right? Oh, that's the same thing. So that's why RAGRS, which they are suggesting, I don't think that is the case. But if they say high availability, then yes, we should go for RAGRS. So it doesn't say anywhere that it should be highly available. Replication cost must be minimized. That's what they're concerned about. Okay, so then LRS is the best option there. And okay, so yes guys, this is it. Like we stick to storage v2, which is general purpose, lowest among other types of storage. Second thing is that replication cost is less, and third thing is that premium is selected there. So pretty much in advanced we go to then security, virtual network data protection. So they're not talking about security at all. Tags and review plus create, done, right? That's it. So that's gonna be creating. Let's go to simulation, next simulation. If there are any questions or comments, let me know. Any other time when you're going through that, you can still ask those questions, but we need to just meet those objectives there. Now once the storage is created, we could still go explore the cost, but it's not, storage v2 would be the best choice. Okay, simulation 3. Any comments, let me know. Right, next. So we'll go for simulation, this is simulation 8 now, and we go down to, okay, you plan to move backup files and documents from an on-premises Windows or file server to Azure storage. The backup files will be stored as blobs. Okay, so you need to create a storage account named car data, which is different from previous storage accounts. Okay, the solution excuse me, must meet the following requirements. Ensure that the documents are accessible via drive mapping. Okay, let's do that. So they didn't mention exactly the CLI based drive mapping or partial based drive mapping. They just are concerned about drive mappings. So, and then they provide highest possible redundancy for the documents. Redundancy would be that if you just create that virtual machine on RAGRS, which is the replication that creates it on two regions, so that would be highest possible redundancy and minimize storage access costs. We're going to try to check that too. So first of all, you need to create a storage account named this. Okay, again, another storage account. I'm just going to copy that, go back there, and while our, okay, this deployment is also done, I'm just going to go for storage account again, add 5 and 1, 5 and 2. Okay, it still is a different one, right? And they did not mention any particular resource group, so we can just select the existing resource group here. In fact, that is that resource group that we had for the previous storage account. Oops, what am I doing? And then storage accounts 2. Oh yeah, everyone has done their 1122. I'll just add something extra. East US. And now because we're creating a storage account, we need to check the purpose again. Provide the highest possible redundancy. If we go back there, yes, it is RAGRS, so highest possible redundancy is there because it's redundant. It's multiple regions now. And provide and minimize storage cost, access cost. So that would be minimize storage access cost. Storage access cost. In fact, storage access is more in cool storage, and hot is regular. So storage access cost here would be, whenever you're accessing storage or accessing the files, it will be a little lesser. When you select the cool one, so the cost of access will be higher. The overall rates of per month rates for just keeping the data there will be low. So but with hot, the cost of access is low, right? So that is one thing. So I'll keep it hot there. Account kind is also general purpose, but it is highly replicated, so it is redundant, so RAGRS should be okay. Now that is one thing here. Then that's it. So let's just go ahead. So we're gonna go for creating a virtual machine in with Windows Store 2016, and this storage account is getting created. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'll just click learn more one more time just to confirm that, because I know that hot is access storage, but are they really worried about just the access of the file, or are they worried about the whole overall expenses of the storage here? So that's why hot and cool would be a little question mark here, that if we go for hot and cool here, what would be that? So I'm also thinking that it could be that okay, let me just go to that. I'm also thinking that if they are not worried about the access of the file, which is more expensive in cool, if they're worried about the overall access of the data, if they mean that overall access of the data, right? Oh, there's a comment on chat, and I have the solution for this if you want to verify. Yes, Shujat, most welcome. Sure, let me know what you're trying to say. Oh, I did. Okay, so let's get going. I'll just put my email on the other screen here, and I'll open that this solution page reference. This I'll open that page reference here, and I'll grab that. So provide the highest possible redundancy. Yes, minimize storage access costs. So you kept it on okay, my file share, and then index.html. Yeah, this is what I am supposed to do, but what about the storage access cost? Okay, that's pretty. This is what I was about to do. So if this is okay, you want me to do still in the video, or is that something that everyone can accept? It's up to you guys. Let me know quickly so I could go for the rest of the solutions, or you want me to still do that? I'm just going to exactly do what you did, right? So is that okay? Should I do that still in the video, or shall I just go ahead, because this is what everyone can follow easily? Okay, go ahead means let's not do that and go ahead, right? Okay, so yeah, this is okay. Like guys, just follow that solution. It was perfectly done by Shujat. And Shujat, did you, when you run PowerShell for the mapping, did you run did the PowerShell script work, or did the CLI work for you, Shujat? So when you ran the mapping there, so PowerShell, okay, good. So very good. If guys, if PowerShell doesn't work for some reason, then just go for CLI as well. It works perfectly as well. Okay, both actually are supposed to work, definitely. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this because that document is perfectly done. That document just shows us, and yeah, obviously you would just I'll just upload that video. Beside that video, the documents that are okay, we can just put that document there as well. So we'll combine those. Okay, so refer to Shujat document for where did it go? For solution number, okay, uh, 8. Refer to Shujat document for question number 8. Okay, let's go ahead and question 16, simulation, and we have this. You plan to prevent users from accidentally deleting blob data from Azure. You need to ensure that administrators can recover any blob data that is deleted accidentally from the storage account, which is again some other one, for 14 days after the deletion occurred. Now, who did that lab? That was perfect lab. I mean, you just go through the backup and okay, yeah, yeah. So somebody did this lab as well for blob, and that was perfect. I mean, I could repeat the whole same steps, but that was a perfect lab. Whoever did that and sent me is, oh, okay. These guys are okay. This is, they put all they put everything here. Selection. So this is perfect lab. Normally, there's another feature called soft delete. So backup is one way to do it. Now, if they have mentioned the backup here for question 18, that's good. It says you plan to prevent users from accidentally deleting blob data from Azure. You need to ensure that administrators can recover any blob data that is deleted accidentally from the storage account for 14 days after the deletion occurred. Normally, it's a soft delete feature that does that. Now, backup is a kind of a longer solution, and they just gave they went to the recovery service vault, and then they went for creating a backup, and there it's also available. But if I just go to already created storage account, so we already know, guys, how to create a storage account here. So when they say again and again create a storage account, instead I can just show you that exact feature in one of the already created storage account. So if I go to the storage account here, whichever is there, and go to the soft delete feature of that, which is this one, blob service. Under blob service, you see soft delete feature. Now that soft delete feature is exactly for this purpose. If you enable that retention policies and put it on, the question says 14, right? So if I just go for 14 here and save, so now if anyone accidentally deletes that data inside this storage account, within 14 days they can recover it. I'm not sure why they went for Azure site recovery, and then they just mentioned. So if I was there, I would just go for soft delete, and that's it. That it just serves a purpose. But then they have exam collection has given the longer way to do it, and there is no specific mention of backup here, right? They don't say that is there a backup policy, or they don't specifically mention here Azure Site Recovery, ASR. Administrators can recover any blob data that is deleted accidentally from the storage account for 14 days. So both solutions are okay, but if I were you, I would just go for soft delete, which is exactly built for that purpose. And it says when turned on, soft delete enables you to save and recover your blob data in many cases where blobs or blob snapshots are deleted. This protection extends to blobs that are deleted as a result of overwrites. So that would be the best one. Otherwise, they have given the full lab here as well, which is exactly you create a recovery services vault. In fact, we're going to go for today's lab, which is a long one, ASR, Azure Site Recovery, and there's a backup there as well. So whoever, yeah, so soft delete would be very straightforward, right? So 14 days up to 1 year, you can just do that. Okay, so there are two ways to do it. Either it's Azure Site Recovery and the longer way, but I think one of you did the backup lab as well, which was also perfectly done. And I mentioned that in my comments there as well when I sent the comments. So, but other solution is I will go for soft delete for this question. So this question is question number 16. Okay, so question number 16, guys, go for soft delete. but you could just go for other one also serves the same purpose. It's just a longer way to do the same thing. Okay, and then I'm clicking next, and if there are any questions or comments, let me know. So next is question 17, and that is simulation. So suppose the question changes there. One more thing about this question 16 here. Suppose the question changes and they mention that is there a backup policy that can keep you your data for retain your data for backup can retain data forever, right? So backup doesn't delete that. Otherwise, normally this backup can also, suppose they change the question, they change the simulation, and they actually mention ASR, Azure Site Recovery Solution, or they mention backup, then better to go with this step by step. So my suggestion would be then, if this question exactly comes the same way, go for soft delete. If they mention they change slightly and it's ASR, Azure Site Recovery is mentioned, or the backup is mentioned there specifically, then do just follow these screenshots as well, right? Which is ASR. Today we're going to create ASR anyway. But they have given good pictures, and I think Shujat, you did that, or whose responsibility was that to do this question 17? But somebody did that, and that was that guy took a backup perfectly, and then went to that policy as well. So question 16 is that's what I'm saying, that go for soft delete. Otherwise, if they change the question to no, mention the backup or ASR, then go for this solution which is there, or if you've done that already, then that page, just follow that page, right? But anyway, so question 17, if there are any comments or questions, let me know. Question 17 is, if we go ahead and your company plans to store several documents on a public website, you need to create a container named BIOS that will host the, oh, that's there's simulation, right? Oh yeah. So that will host the documents in this storage account. The solution must ensure anonymous access and must ensure that users can browse folders in the container. Now that's an easy one. Should I create another storage account? Okay, I'll just create one. So storage account here, and but this solution is you have to create a container and give anonymous access to all the users with anonymous folder access there. So shall I just show it in a current storage account? You don't mind me not creating this storage account? I can just show the same solution. And so we by now we know that how to create a storage account. So just create that storage account. Once you, and with the basic or standard options there, default options, just create that storage account in your exam. But what you do inside is, once it is created, so you go to the blob, you go and create a service. Now they're also saying your company plans to store several documents on a public website. Seriously? So public website is, there's a static website solution there as well, and that's a $web, and you need to create a container named BIOS that will host. So maybe public website, we don't have to go to actually the service called static website. You need to create a container named BIOS that would host the documents in this account, storage account. The solution must ensure. Yeah, so that was just creating confusion there. You don't have to go to the static website area there. Just create a container, and let me show you what to do here. So if we go inside and go to storage accounts, so I'm in I have just created two storage accounts here. I'm just going to go to anyone, so I'm just going to go to first one here. Suppose you create the storage account with the default options there. So then you go down to the blobs here, and that's reference to, seriously, I should just say that reference to question number 17. So question number 17, I'm just going to container. I'll just click the create container, and they did not mention, oh, they mentioned the name BIOS. Okay, BIOS is the name of the container, and oh, I have premium storage here. Seriously, containers within this storage must set to private access level. Okay, so I'll just go out of. That's why they asked to create a separate storage account, because it's not letting me change those permissions. So I'm just going to go to the other storage account. Why it is not letting me change the permissions here? Because I selected premium here. So just create your default storage account with standard option there. This is the one that is not premium. This is a standard one. I'm just going to go there, and blobs, and then container. So yes, test BIOS is the name of the container, and then you just go for the third one, container, anonymous read access for containers and blobs, right? So anonymous users can access the now there's anonymous read access for containers and blobs, blob anonymous read access for blobs only, or containers and blobs. So if we go for that, still, what is the exam objective again? So you create a container, we create that. Okay, in the storage account, the solution must ensure anonymous access. Okay, that's one thing done. Must ensure that users can browse folders in the container. Okay, in the container they should be able to browse folders. Now we should not be giving unnecessary access as well. So can the anonymous user browse the container if we just give blob anonymous? So blob is like, suppose you have 20 containers inside the blob, so all containers will be accessible, or just this container. So that's why the third one is perfect, because only this container you're giving access to. But it says here, all container and blob data can be read by anonymous request. All container and blob data. Clients can enumerate blobs within the container by anonymous request, but cannot enumerate containers within the storage account. Okay, so this is this particular container that you've created. Anonymous users will have access to, browse access to this container. So third one is okay. BIOS is the name. Go ahead and press OK. You're done. Okay, so let's go for next simulation, and I think there's a next here. Yeah, so question 18 is a simulation. So if I just go down here, your company plans to host in Azure the source files of several line of business applications. You need to create an Azure file share named Corp Software in the storage old 6.1 storage account. The solution must ensure that Corp software can store only up to 250 GB of data. Seriously. Now that's a very simple simulation. So I'm going to go to a storage account, and I'm going to create a file share there, right? When I'm creating a file share, I will make sure that it's 250 GB of data given there, data space given there, which is also called quota, right? Quota. So I'm just going to go to already created storage account, but in your case you have to create that storage account, and then let's create a Azure file inside there, Azure file share. So if I go back there, so I'll just go down to files here. The files is mentioned here. If I click overview, then files is mentioned here as well, right? So if I click the files and then I click the file share, so there I think they gave a name there, so it's Corp Software. And that's it. So just type 250 GB here, because that's where you give the quota or size, right? So set a quota in GB up to 5120 GB, right? Up to, but they're saying just give 250 GB size there. So if I go back there, yeah, 250 GB data. So let's click create. Done, right? Okay, let's go for next one, and that is question 19 now. Question 19 says, you recently created. Was having a tea. Okay, so you recently created a virtual machine named Web01, and you need to attach a disk. Okay, that's we need to attach a new 80 GB standard data disk named. So it's not existing attached disk; it's a new attached disk, right? So to Web01, which is the name of the virtual machine. So let me go for creating a virtual machine called Web01, and when it comes to the disks, I'll just attach a new disk, which is 80 GB, but it has to be standard data disk, right? So Web01, let's go back and go to virtual machines here and add. So we use the same resource group, and it's Web01. Didn't mention the region in the question, so we're good. They didn't mention, they're not concerned about high availability or availability set options. They're not concerned about any Windows version there. I'm just selecting 2012 there, R2, and putting. We have to go ahead. So obviously you have to put this data there. So username and password, and then yes, allow selected ports. Although I don't think we're gonna connect to that. So next disks. That's where the lab is. And here, so there's a create and attach a new disk, and there's a attach an existing disk. So if you go to the objectives here, you need to attach a new 80 GB standard disk. That's it, right? So okay, create and attach a new disk. I'm just going to click that, and so there is that snapshot. There's a storage blob, and there's a new non or empty disk there, and there's a change size here or premium SSD. So if I click the change size here, so it shows the size here and throughput and IOPS there. But and then yeah, well, that's a custom size already that is mentioned there. Not much here other than that it's a standard disk. I was gonna go and check that if we go for suppose storage blob there, suppose, so then storage blob, it will take us to the blob, and then we can go to an existing disk. We did that lab already. If I click browse, it's asking for which storage account you want to go. So I'm not going to go that way because we're not creating a existing disk. We're creating a new disk. So pretty much that's it, guys. There is no you want standard disk or premium disk or any other disk. It's just giving us no other option than creating a simple disk here, right? So if I go back to the objective, 80 GB standard data disk. Now that is still confusing. That hey, are we using standard disk or are we using premium disk? It's not that standard premium, it's just standard. But I'll just go for more suggestions or opinions. Any input is always good. Disks, that's it. Because they have no option, obviously there cannot be any opinion. So and they're going for an existing machine, or did they create a new one? So in the select virtual machines, select the web1 virtual machine from the list. Okay, it's an existing machine, they're doing that. So I created a new machine, but maybe web1 was created in some previous question that didn't come to me yet. Okay, it is still premium LRS. So yes, the only choice is premium. Suppose it's an existing virtual machine, suppose you create a new virtual machine, the choice is premium, right? So we're good here. It is premium SSD here, so we're good. Press OK. Well, and host caching or not, that has nothing to do with standard virtual disk. Our objective for that particular question is done. So now there is use. If you go to advanced, managed or unmanaged, no, that has no concern with that question. Oh yeah, 80 GB, sorry. So there's launch 0, and I'll just edit that. So if I go for edit button, so change size, and we can go for way down custom size and put here 80 GB. Yeah, forgot that aspect. Okay, and it's 80 GB now, and thanks for that reminder. And yeah, it says mention the name of the disk. So did it mention the name of the disk? No, that's in the answer. Oh yeah, web01 disk 1. I think web01 disk 1. Okay. And disk 1 exactly would be then in the existing virtual machine. It will not be. Oh. Testing 1 2 3. Can you all hear me, guys? Can you all hear me, guys? Okay. So yes, Elias. Oh well. If they can hear, so Elias has to reconnect, right? Okay, guys. So yeah, I changed the disk name here, and I changed the size of the disk here. But disk 0 will be created if we go to. So I'm just gonna click cancel here because in existing there is that disk 0 getting created. So that's the disk that gets created in a new machine. that would be disk 0, because disk start with 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So in existing machine it would be disk 0. So now, yes, they need the name exactly like that, so just give the name like that. You recently created a virtual machine named web01. So guys, in any previous question, did you create a machine, did you have to create a machine web01? If they are connect, if they want you to connect to that exact virtual machine, then that's another thing. But in we didn't do two of the, I think two of the those simulations. So if you have done that, did you have to create a machine called web01 before? In those who have done that, maybe you remember that. Otherwise, just create a new virtual machine and just give the disk like that, with the exact name like this, exact size like this, and then just simply create the machine, right? So I'm just gonna go to that, and the name is disk 1, while I'm creating a new machine, and change size is 80, and press OK. So if I press OK here, now web01 disk 1 and size is 80. If we go for the exam objectives, it's 80 GB, and web1 disk 1, web01 disk 1 to web01. Okay, so that pretty much does it, right? So then review and networking, nothing here. Better review and create at that time. Everything else is okay. It's all about the disk. So management, if they want you to create the machine, obviously, because when you create that, then they will check. So just monitoring boot diagnostics should be off, and okay, allow alias. And then next tags, and then review and create, right? So I'm just creating that machine. Now let's go for the next one. If there are any comments or questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going for the next one, which is question 5 simulation. Wow. So question 5, they didn't come before. Okay, so I was on question 17, then it comes to 5. Seriously. And okay, what was the task 3? You plan to protect on-premises virtual machines and Azure virtual machines by using Azure Backup. You need to prepare the backup infrastructure in Azure. The solution must minimize the cost of storing the backups in Azure. What should you do from the Azure portal? So let's do that. So it says in the suggestion, create recovery services vault, and then go to all services, then go to services list, and then recovery services vault, and then we will create a vault first like this, and then resource group existing, and it's in the recovery service vault, for example, blah blah blah, and then appears you have additional subscriptions, blah blah blah, and okay, so what we need to do is, let's just create a vault, and we need to create a backup solution. That's it, right? So you need to prepare the backup infrastructure in Azure. Okay, let's go for that. I think somebody did that too, but so I'm just gonna go to all services, all resources, all services, and then easier way to do it is just type and search recovery services vault, and it will come. But okay, all services, and then services, recovery services. Okay, then we go for recovery services. Yes, so normally we need to create a vault there. I'll just go for top there. I was just following the document for some reason. I'll simply go home. Oh, what happened? Did I do something? Okay. Now I'll just click search here. Right, it's freezing on me. Okay, search and recovery services, and there's a recovery services vault, right? So that's in reference to question number 5, recovery services vault. I searched it, and then I'm just going inside, and recovery services vault is there. Let's click the add button here, and So VM got created there. It's just kind of slow right now, but so now we're in the recovery sources vault here, and I'm just gonna use the existing resource group and vault name. Did they mention any specific name here? You need to prepare the backup infrastructure. That's it. So okay, let's go there and vault your first name, vault 1, or just vault 1, whatever you want to put there. Vault 1 or your first name, vault East US is there, and next is tags, nothing in the tags. Then the basics, which is this, so the same thing. Just go ahead and review plus create and create. Okay, so it is getting created now. So if I just go back to the document here, oh, it's done. No, it's still going on. So guys, here, let go to create a vault. Yeah, it's still creating a vault. Deployment in progress to resource group in progress, and yeah, it's gone. It's done here. So done here. Seriously, what's wrong with me? So go to resource here, and I'm inside the vault here, and there are two main services in the ASR, Azure Site Recovery. There is Site Recovery there. That's our lab today, and then there's a backup. And I hope everyone has created the Windows Server 2016. So anyway, let's click the backup here, and this and there's a backup up there as well, right? So here, if I click backup anywhere here, so then it says that where's your workload running. So we can go for there's Azure, there's on-premises. Now what does the exam objective say? We have to check that out. So you plan to protect on-premises virtual machines and Azure virtual machines by using Azure backup. You need to prepare the backup infrastructure in Azure. The solution must minimize the cost of storing the backups in Azure. Okay, that was a alarm that really started in my ear. So that was, I was scared to death. Okay, so you know that thing, on premises virtual machines and Azure virtual machines. That is one thing that I was thinking about here in the options, that you see either Azure or on premises. So let's just I thought they should have mentioned Azure and on premises as an extra option, but it's, let's just stick to Azure. What do you want to back up? And it's the virtual machines you want to back up, and then let's click the backup. So configure backup. So we're gonna just create a backup here. Once it is created, now it is actually going for the policies there. So default policy or create new. Now if I click the create new here, I just click the create new, right? And if I go back to the solution, so you need to prepare the backup infrastructure in Azure. The solution must minimize the cost of storing the backups in Azure. So it's, then they are just concerned about the minimizing of cost of storing. Okay, so what we need to do is policy name, test policy, and then the changes will apply to all existing and new recovery points. Existing recovery points will be affected anyway. So frequency daily, now 8:30 coordinated universal time. Retain instant recovery snapshots 2 days. For 2 days the snapshots of the backup will be there retained, and then retention, it's going to be till 180 days. So if we go for the retention of weekly backup point, Sunday, every the backup that it's taking weekly, so it will be on Sunday for 12 weeks. So, and then retention of monthly backup point. So week based, it's first of Sunday. It's gonna take for 60 months here, and then week based again. It just keeps on going for the schedule here. But where does it minimize the cost? So we have, you need to prepare the backup infrastructure and minimize the storing cost storing. So if I just go down here, they just tell us to create a vault, and that's pretty much it. So how do we store save the cost? So I'm just going to press OK here for the policy, and then it says which virtual machine you want to take a backup of. So if we go up there, they don't mention any specific virtual machine, so you need to prepare virtual machines of Azure. So we can just select any virtual machine that is there. Normally it's on premises plus so this means we should define our infrastructure. Normally you're going to today define the infrastructure for on-premises, then you will understand that, oh, on-premises is defined this way. But here it's just that save the cost mean create backup in same region, I think. Okay, that's should I saying that backup in, yeah. So if we just whatever schedule is there, it's expanded, we could just yeah, make it slower. But let's just create the backup full, and let's see that if we can just minimize the cost by any other extra measure, because it's pretty straightforward what they're mentioning here. So selected virtual machines, if I select that, then there's only one virtual machine here, right? And that we already selected. So I'm just going to press OK. Not much there other than the schedule and which virtual machines, right? So if we create that, click that, I'm just going to click the enable backup now. Now deployment is in progress, and once the backup is available there, then we can just check that if we can minimize the cost in any way possible. Otherwise, normally the machines are machines of one region are being backed up, because this backup solution is created in the East US. It specifically asked for a region when it was creating that backup solution. So it's going to be only backing up the machines of that region. So well, once it is created, then we can just explore more options. Otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward solution. Not much there, but of course we have to explore that how to minimize the cost. We can't just go through that and assume something. So at least if we explore the options, then we don't have to assume. We will be sure that there is no other button. Like, so there was a hot tier, and then the cool tier, and the archive tier. So archive is the cheapest, right? So if we create that, then we can check it out. So now this creation time, if it's taking there, it's not going to add up to your time of exam. So that creation time is not added to the exam time. So when it is created, right after when it is created, the exam time starts. Okay, it is created. I'm going to go to the, no, not the resource group. I don't need to go to the, so once the backup is complete here, so I click the backup, it is still saying that what backup you want to create. So I'm just going to go to backup items here, which is down here, backup items, and so what items were being backed up, that's it. If I go back to the backup here, that is just again the schedule. But let's go to the backup infrastructure, this one. So if we go to the, that's way down here, backup infrastructure, right? If we click the backup infrastructure here, now we're inside that backup infrastructure. So again, the question, exam objective, you need to prepare the backup infrastructure in Azure. Okay, so the backup infrastructure was there all this time. So if I go to the vault here, way down here is this backup infrastructure. So we created a backup policy, but what about the backup infrastructure itself? So since it is clearly mentioned in the question as well, I flick the backup infrastructure here, which pretty much says workload in Azure VM, Azure Backup Agent, DPM, Distributed Power Management, I guess, Azure Backup Server. So if I go to the backup management servers here, so there are no backup management servers here, first of all. Then second thing is protected servers. So workload in Azure, there are no protected servers here. So the thing is that whichever virtual machines or servers we have added, now it is referring to those. If I go to storage accounts here, so it's whatever we have configured in the backup, that would appear here in the backup server. Otherwise, it's not showing anything else. So its backup infrastructure would show whatever we have configured separately in other options there. Otherwise, there is nothing to configure here. So we're exploring the option that is there, or can there be another option where the cost can be minimized. Otherwise, ultimately at the end we have to assume so that what we did was also going to minimize the cost. So backup policies here, if I just go to that, we've created one policy already, and that is test policy here. That's it. If we could have gone to that policy again, retain instant recovery snapshot, retention range 180 days. That's it. Retention time for week, for years is mentioned there, and we cannot save anything. We cannot change anything to reduce the cost here. Backup reports, backup jobs, site recovery jobs, backup alerts, and site recovery events. Nothing there, guys. So other than that, if I just go to the vault properties here, so it is just East US, so it is already cost saving. It is not across the two regions. Diagnostic, backup, backup configuration, security settings. That's it, guys. So you go straight forward, create that backup policy, assign the backup to a machine, and it should resolve it. So if you create the recovery versus vault in different region, it will more, yeah. So yes, it is just created within one region here. So yes, that could be the cost factor there. Otherwise, normally just like hot and cool storage have different costs. We explored here, and I am exploring there, so it should be recording the video as well. And normally they do add extra features there as well. So I always explore whenever I'm there and back here again, that if they've added any new feature. They hadn't added any new feature, just create that backup policy as I did, and you should be okay with that lab. So yes, because it doesn't mention also that can do you want to create it in another region, so it's just strictly one region. So this is a straightforward lab, and I don't think the question in even the task is just 3 sentences here. They should have taken some time to explain the whole scenario to make it complicated. It's not. So just create that, go to backup, create the backup the way we did, and that's it. So, and it only creates in one region, so we're good. We should be good. Any comments or suggestions, let me know. Okay, guys, I'm just going to the next one. Page 85, lab, we're okay. So, question 6, it's coming to question 6 now. I mean, 5, 6, it started, went to 17, and then, okay. Page 85. Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay. SLA. Okay. You're good with that? Okay, let's go ahead. So you have that, so definitely, so page 85 will just add that lab which is already done. Let's go for next one. And now it takes me to page question 7. Did we not do that before? Page 87. Okay. So it says here you need to deploy an Azure virtual machine named this based on an Ubuntu server image, and then 88 is also good. Okay. So guys, we're gonna add that page as well beside that video, which labs are complete. I'm just gonna go with the next one, and question 20, which is page 101. You plan to back up all the Azure virtual machines in Azure subscription at 2 coordinated universal time UTC daily, so 2 AM this means if it's international or military time, or 24-hour time. You need to prepare the Azure environment to ensure that any new virtual machines can be configured quickly for backup. The solution must ensure that all the daily backups performed at 2 UTC are stored for only 90 days. What should you do should you do from recovery services vault on the Azure portal? So this is pretty much playing with the policy now. So let's do that. Let's create another policy for which one? Good. Okay, no. So 102. This is page 102 I'm on. Let's try to go for this one now. You plan to back up all the Azure virtual machines at 2. So let's create a new policy and just configure this scenario. So we go back to, we're still in the backup here, and I'm just going to click the backup here, this one. In fact, it's the backup policies. So I'll go to the backup policies here. If the vault has already been created by the time you reach that question in the exam, so let's click the add button here. And so it's first of all, it is for virtual machine, so we select that. And then it is again asking for a policy now. Does it say that put a policy name there? So you plan to back up all the virtual machines at 2. You need to prepare the Azure environment to ensure that any new virtual machines can be configured quickly for backup. So okay, let's create a policy there, and that's okay. In fact, the question is, okay, page 102. I'll just put page 102 refer. Okay, and that is frequency is daily. So environment to ensure that any new, so the solution must ensure that daily backups. Okay, daily backups performed at 2 UTC. So it's 2:30 written there. So I'll just go back to 2, and 2 UTC would be the AM, not, yeah, there's a 2 universal coordinated universal time, coordinated. So it should be CUT, not UTC. Anyway, so universal time coordination, whatever. So then we go for 90 days are stored for only 90 days. So stored for only 90 days. Okay. So we go down here. Retain instant recovery snapshots. No. Retention for daily backup point. Retention range 180 days. So stored for 90. Retention of weekly backup points or daily backup. And this is, they're talking about daily backups, right? So we can come here 80 and just change it to 90 days here. That's it. So change the time to 2 and put there for daily backups point as 90 days retention range. Retain it for 90 days. Then there's weekly, that's it, right? So 2 UTC daily, and then the retention daily backup point is 90 days. So that's it. Nothing else. So if I just go finally to that, what should you do from your recovery side? Yeah, done. Okay, so that's it. Let's click create here, and well, so it is the policy has been created here. How to check it? So we're just gonna go to policy type is this. I'm just gonna close that, and there's that page 102 refer, right? So 2 UTC. Why did I go for 200? Because it's a 24-hour time I'm counting on. But if I just go inside the policy here, they have AM and PM, or they have 1600, 1700. Oh, they have AM, PM. They don't mention that. So I'm assuming now, because of the lack of extra information there, either it's 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. Maybe they're not really worried about that as well. Otherwise, they should have mentioned AM or PM. But when they mention AM, so it would have been much easier for us to do that. If I just put 2 p.m., it doesn't change anything else. And if I go for UTC here, yeah, that's just the universal coordinate time. So yeah, if they don't mention, we don't worry about that. I don't think there is a way to figure that out. If we just check the question, if there's any hint here, nope. So choose AM or PM, it's up to you. I would just go for, even yeah, because they put PM there, so I would still go for 2 AM because they did mention that, and I'm counting on when it is universal time, it should be in military hours or 24-hour time. I'm assuming that, so I'm not sure because the question doesn't say anything about it. So guys, and If there was any support, yeah, we could have talked to that, but it's pretty much. And what they suggest here in exam collection, we can just take a hint from there as well. Yes, they also go for AM. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Basically, if it's universal time, I would go for AM. If it's just 2 written, if it's 1500 written, then I would go for 3, or or 1400 written, it will be 2. But yes, Azure itself has separate time. So I'm just gonna click save here. So yes, stick to 2 AM. That would be good. Yes, backup takes at AM exactly. 2 p.m. is the peak time. Okay, there you go. You solved it already. Okay, so guys, let's go for next one. And so let's page 104. This is question 21. Okay, so you plan to connect several virtual machines to the VNet 01 USEA2, and you plan to connect several virtual machines to the virtual network. Okay, that's a virtual network. In the web dash 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 resource group, you need to create a virtual machine that uses the standard B2 MS size, okay, named Web01 that runs Windows Server 2016. Web01 must be added to an availability set. Oh, okay, that's no big deal. So let's create a virtual network. That's on refer to page 105. You plan to connect several virtual machines to the. So let's create a virtual network now. VNet 01, this one, and then and this is the resource group normally. So I'll just okay, I'll just go there, and there's the virtual network here, and then click the add button. And first, what is asking? Name. Okay, so name is this. And second thing is, yeah, the range is given already, and the resource group is this. Oops. Okay, and now you need to create a virtual machine that uses the 2016. Yeah, it should be available to set, and should be you need to create a virtual machine that uses, and we should attach to this VNet, right? So yeah, okay. So once you create that VNet here, just create a virtual machine after that and attach it to this VNet, and that virtual machine should have availability set configured. That virtual machine should have this size configured. I need to still check that. So let's when it is created, when the VNet is created, let's create a virtual machine there and check that which size is that B2MS. It could be like 6 vCPUs and maybe 64 GB RAM and 10 SSDs there. It could be any CPU, RAM, and SSD disk combination. Okay, let's check if it is done. Oh, it's done. So once VNet is done, and I'll just go for virtual network. I was already there. Okay, this is done. Then I'm going to go to virtual machines here and add Web01 was a virtual machine. Seriously? Okay, that's a virtual machine. So Web01 must be added to an availability set as well. So okay, Web011 I'll just create because Web01 is already created there. So it is attached to the some resource group here, and machine name is this, and I'll just go for 1.1 now, and it's US East, and it should be availability set, and it should be 2016, and no existing availability sets is incurrent. Okay, so we haven't created the name of the availability set. So if I just go back to the resource group is created, machine set uses this size. I was gonna go to the size, but yes, it's availability set to be added to an availability set. So when you're creating availability set, so of course you have to create one by the name, and obviously you have to select that fault domain and update domain. So click create new, and just because they didn't mention any specific name to that, so test dash availability set, and then press OK. Keep the defaults, and then the size is there. So we'll just have to check that where's the B2MS. So this is B2MS there, not SMS. So B2MS is 2 vCPUs, 8 GB RAM, 4 data disks. Okay, so B2MS, was that what we wanted? Yeah, standard B2MS. So it was standard, and yes, it is standard written here, standard B2MS. So that's selected, and that's it. So if you have done that, then just your first name, admin, all the boring details. Then after that, obviously you have to create that virtual machine, and you haven't attached it to the so just go for RDP here, next disks, nothing in the disks, but in the networking, that VNet that you created, it has to be connected to that. So that was the other objective here. Virtual network, did I not create that VNet? It's not showing here. Maybe it got created after I started creating the virtual machine. Okay, so should I saying that go back and then come back here? Yeah, by this time it was done. It would have been done. Changing basic options, reset selections you have made, review all options. Okay, no, I did not change anything. Oh, that VNet was created with the other resource group, right? But does it matter? So it was created 2261. Well, I'm just attaching that anyway, but otherwise it should not matter, I guess. So desk networking, yeah, it was left, previous and left, right. It's not that. So okay, that VNet is also there now. Yeah, no, it's not USA2, right? Oh, that's not the virtual network. Okay, so USAE2 was not created. This means I'm just gonna go previous again and stick to my other, although it should not matter. But serious? No. Okay, that guys, you know how to create a VNet anyway. So or let me just complete this lab. I'll just press OK and close that, and go to virtual net machines here, in fact virtual networks here. And yes, VNet USA USEA2, and it is in West US. That's why. Woohoo! Solve the problem. Seriously, what's wrong with me? So the virtual machine has to be in West US as well. So anyway, it's region location. I cannot change that to. So I just by mistake created that in West US, and you should be able to figure that out. In fact, they did not mention the region as well. So if you've created that in West US, then go ahead and simply put it there. So I'm just gonna put that name again, web 011, and then it's West US. I need to select here, West US, this one. Now I should be able to see that.
Call recording is on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, don't worry, I was already recording that. So availability set, and then I did create availability set, but I didn't name it. So test and okay. So it was the wrong region I selected there, so that's why I could not see that VNet. Region has to be exactly the same. So 2016 here, and then change size here, and then go for B2MS, select, and just put your name admin. Next, disks and networking. Now there you go. So that was requirement. If I just go back to that, so source group is this, B2MS is done, 2016 is done, and availability set is done. That was it. So management, I'll just uncheck monitoring, advanced, nothing there, tags, nothing there, review plus create, and I'll just go ahead and create that. Okay, so we will have VNet already in the exam. We just follow the region when we create VM. Exactly. So we just follow the region, definitely. And that mistake really, in fact, tells us what not to do. So that's good. Okay, guys, so let's go to our next one. And that is question 15 on page 121. And if we go ahead, your on-premises network uses IP address range of, we are okay with that. Okay, so this document will be attached as well with a video because this lab is question 15 on page 122. Let's go ahead, and question 16 is 122. If we go there, another administrator attempts to establish connectivity between two virtual networks named VNet1 and VNet2. The administrator reports that connections across the virtual networks fail. You need to ensure that network connections can be established successfully between VNet1 and VNet2 as quickly as possible. Oh, that's the peering lab. So yes, now the pairing lab, we have to just go ahead and create two VNet. So let's just create that. I'm just going to create VNet1 and VNet2 now. And should we be able to allow? Hey. So, okay, VNet peering. You're okay with that? VNet peering? Okay. So this means you have a document for that, Shujat. We are simply peering option. Yeah, this is just a peering option, and I have the screenshots as well for VNet peering. That was so Shujat, you have a document to share with everyone as well. That how to do the VNet peering. Okay, good, cool. So guys, this is also provided document provided by Shujat, so that's good. But it's just VNet peering. You just go inside the VNet, go to peering, and then select the other one, and have the traffic started. So it doesn't mention that you should have two virtual machines created there, but obviously you can only check peering with two virtual machines. But just connecting the peering is also not that difficult, and it's just showing here. But anyway, the screenshots are created there, right? They will be there, so we're good. We're good on page 127. Okay, if I go back, go further here, 126. Okay, you're saying page 127 is okay as well. You have the document for that. Oh yeah, public IP address. That was the easiest one. And then we go ahead with 129, and that is simulation for, you need to allow RDP connection over TCP port 33892 VM1 from the internet. Seriously? Yeah, this is very easy. So you should be doing that with eyes closed and hands tied behind your back, right? So this is what we did so many times. So, and then we go for 132 page, and that is, you plan to create 100 Azure virtual machines on each of the following three virtual networks. All the network traffic between the three virtual networks will be routed through VNet 1005A. You need to create the virtual networks, and then to ensure that all the virtual machines can connect to other virtual machines by using their private IP addresses. This is what we did in that VNet lab. The solution must not require any virtual network gateways. Yes, we didn't require any gateways there. So this is pretty much that lab, but and I give this actually a ticket there that you create 5 VNets. Here they say 3 VNets. So what we need to do is that we're going to create 3 VNets, and then the first VNet should be receiving traffic from public, second VNet should be receiving traffic from the first VNet, third VNet should be receiving traffic from the first VNet as well. So if I just go there, all the network traffic between the three virtual networks will be routed through, yeah, so all the network traffic between the three virtual networks will be routed through VNet A, and you're getting 100 virtual machines, so you need to create the three virtual networks. Then to ensure that all the virtual machines can connect to other virtual machines by using their private IP addresses, the solution must not require virtual network gateways and must minimize the number of peering. So it's what should you do from the Azure portal before you configure IP routing. So they are saying that all the network between the three virtual networks will be routed through VNet 1005. So this means that if I just start creating that first of all, so it would be that the virtual machines in C can connect with A. Okay, sorry. Virtual machine in C should be connecting to A, and virtual machine B should be connecting to A as well, and through that they should be connecting to each other as well. So this means that if we create three VNets, and first VNet, this 5A should be receiving traffic from 5B, should be accepting traffic from 5B, and this should be accepting traffic from 5C as well, right? So if it's accepting from 5B and 5C, then virtual machines and all three VNets would be connecting to each other. So I'll just create three VNets now. I'll just do that. So there's a VNet 00105A, B, and C. Oh, why did I select that? So here, uh, 105A, and the traffic is this, and today's resource group is this, and then East US, right? So basically we need to peering 1 to 2 and 3, but 3 will peer with 1 only. So it's not peering. So if you remember our lab there, and that lab, so peering can also resolve that, but this is IP routing. So IP routing is also definitely resolved, but the thing is that the lab we did was it was I'll just quickly do that because yeah, it's kind of. So we have one VNet here, one VNet here in the lab. What we did, so from internet connection, we went to the public VNet. Remember our lab there, public VNet, right? So that public VNet, and then there was a private VNet. So that private VNet was accepting traffic only from public VNet, right? So first we connected from laptop to the jump PC inside the VNet, and from that jump PC we are going inside the PC there in the private other private VNet, right? So here it has three VNets here. Here there's no jump PC right now. So if it is 5A here, and there is oh yeah, 5B and 5C are this, 5B and 5C are this. So 5C has to accept traffic from 5A, and 5B has to accept traffic from 5B, but also 5A has to accept from both as well. So inbound, outbound ports, either we can do this way, that there are two ways to do that exactly. If you enable peering between three, that's already all out traffic available there. Yes, what you were saying is one way of doing thing. The other way is just enable ports between inbound, outbound ports of 3389 between that, but the IP. So when we're creating the VNets there, the inbound traffic accepting was done there on the network security group level. So peering the three VNets would also be solving the same problem, that the virtual machines with only private IPs should be able to do that. Or the way we did the lab, where we connected to the public machine where there was a public IP, and then it connected to the private machine. And the only configuration we did was that the private machine, a private subnet was accepting traffic from public subnet. How did we do that? We created a security group, and security group told the security group, hey, just accept traffic from 10.1.0.0. That was our lab that we did, /24. Only accept traffic from there. So if their subnets accept traffic from each other, then it's okay. But your peering solution is much more sensible here, because these are three VNets that we are talking about. Our lab was within one VNet. These are three VNets. So three peering, you have to just enable peering there. Yeah. My lab was VNet here. One VNet only. Yours is three VNet. So between VNet, it's just peering, right? So okay, guys. But Shujat, this means that did you do that, or will you be doing that lab for everyone? So it's yeah. Before it was peering between. Okay. So okay, guys. It is the lab. This lab is also available. But the thing is that it's across the VNet. Three VNets will be paired together. Now, but they're saying that you should just make sure that the virtual machines with private IP addresses are able to communicate with each other. Do not give public IPs on any three of the VNets. Okay, so then we are question 20, and that is page 135. So if we go down here, we should create a public IP address at the top left corner. Oh, sorry. Okay. You plan to create several virtual machines in different availability zones, then to configure the virtual machines for load balance connections from the internet. So you need to create an IP address resource named IP1006 to support the planned load balancing solution. The solution must minimize costs. This is perfectly our lab that we did for load balancing. We connected those on different availability zones, and then we created our public IP address there as well, separately. So they don't mention specific names there. So we did with that two virtual machines there, and then we created the load balancer solution there, web pools, backend pools there we created there. So the main thing they are concerned is when you create the two virtual machines, it has to be different availability zones. So what you can do is you can follow exactly that lab, but which we did for load balancing, and there what you do is that put one VM on availability zone 1 and second VM on availability zone 2, right? Exactly, that's what we did. But you have to make sure all the other because there was zone redundancy option was there that we had to select for each virtual machine, and then we created the public IP there. So you need to create an IP address resource named IP1006. Now this is the load balancer IP. When you configure a load balancer, obviously it has to create a IP address resource there. So just name that IP address resource when you're following that lab. The lab we did is exactly what it is asking right now. Just name that IP1006. So this IP1006 should have that public IP which we use for load balancing solution, right? So this is exactly that same lab, but just make sure. In fact, this is what we exactly did there. We put the different availability zones, and we put one machine on one availability zone, second on second availability zone, and the only difference here and there is that we gave their test IP resource or LB or your first name IP. Here you just give in the load balancing this name there. So it will be a good question. So any comments and suggestions on this question? This is the same lab, and you realize that we had to that was a longer lab. So my suggestion would be to really repeat that lab 3 or 4 times, 2 or 3 times at least, do it together in a group and make sure the first time you get it right. So you have to create that load balancing solution, right? Okay, that's very good. And okay, guys, so let's go for the next one. And we have question number 1 on page 138. There we have here, you need to create virtual network named VNet 1008 that contains 3 subnets named subnet 0, subnet 1, subnet 2. The solution must meet the following requirements. Connections from any of the subnets to the internet must be blocked. Any of the subnets to the internet must be blocked. Connections from the internet to any of the subnets must be blocked. Okay, so no internet connection. The number of network security groups and NSG rules must be minimized. So, well, this is you need to create. Now, what we did was we created 2 subnets there, and what we did in our VNet lab, just tell us what port we should have to allow or block and where. Yeah, so it would be in the NSGs. So once we create one VNet and then 3 subnets there. Oops. So here, and so it says connections from any of the subnets to the internet. So of course, inbound, first of all, it should not have public connectivity here. It should have just private IP. So NSGs, network security groups, they connect to virtual machines, right? When you create a virtual machine inside each of them, you connect NSGs to them only, right? So these so first of all, routing table will be added there already, and make sure that that example I was giving you before just now, that what we did in our lab VNet. So there were 3 subnets in one VNet. So first subnet we enabled the public IP. So we're going to click none to that. When we're creating the subnet, we're going to click none for public IP address. So public access should be blocked on all of them. So click, when you're creating subnet, just click none to the public IP address, so it will only be able to give you then private IP addresses. Second thing is that NSGs, they have to be communicating with each other. NSG has to be created. One NSG can be created, so connections from the internet to any of the subnets must be blocked. Click none to the public ports, public there, IP there. Second thing is the number of network security groups should be must be minimized. You just need, guys, one NSG. And how many subnet 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. How many virtual machines you need to, oh, they don't mention virtual machines there. Okay, so if you create NSGs there, you need to connect it to the virtual machines there. So obviously you need to create one virtual machine for each, although they don't specifically mention that. In NSG, you have to put 3389 if it is a Windows machine, and also just the private IP range of the other subnet. So all NSGs will accept the traffic, inbound traffic, that is inbound traffic, and it would be 3389. And the other thing is that NSGs also say that, hey, which IP range are you getting traffic from? So the number of network security groups and the solution must meet connections from the. They're not saying that they should communicate with each other, but anyway, so the 3 subnets should accept traffic from each other, which is, suppose you have the subnet here 10.01.0.0 here /24, and then you have 2.0 and then 3.0. So these subnets should accept traffic from each other only and not from the internet. In fact, that's what I was explaining in the previous question. So the 3 subnets within one VNet should be created, and the public IP should be none. And NSG, when you create, it's only one NSG that you can create, because if this NSG has this configuration there, then you can attach the same NSG to all 3 machines. But there's a problem here. If you want the traffic to be allowed from all 3, then it means you need to create three NSGs here. they are saying minimum set of NSGs should be created there. But if you're saying that they're not going to accept traffic from internet, they need to accept traffic from each other. So then in that case, it would be each NSG would be accepting traffic from the other subnet. Suppose you create an NSG that is here, network security group. So it would be accepting traffic from this subnet. Then the NSG here would be accepting traffic from this and this subnet. And NSG created here will be accepting traffic from this subnet. So all three will be able to connect there. So the middle NSG will be accepting traffic from both ways, and sideways NSG will be accepting traffic from this middle one here. Okay, there's a comment here. So they're asking to block internet to and from all subnet. You know what we can do is we can try this on a current subnet here. In fact, let's just create one VNet because it's just one VNet here, right? So let's create that, and one we are saying. Okay, we were creating this one, so instead it's this, and then there's that /16, and then there is a /24. So this is the first subnet 2.0.0/24. So create. Oh, okay. And then once that VNet is created, we're gonna just create the two subnets and then check it out. Let's do that. So don't worry about the 1 o'clock thing. We can go 1:30, 1:45. Okay, it's done. And then we go for resource, and I click the subnets here. So the first one is address range is this, and 251. Then I click the second subnet here, and did they give subnet names there? Subnet 0, subnet 1, subnet 2. Okay, I didn't forgot to give the subnet 1 here, and 10.2.0.1, it already decides that. Network security group, we don't have that yet. Route table, so none. And service endpoints, nothing. Subnet delegation, so we haven't created those routing groups. And let's just create the subnet 1. I'll just go for default as well. And can we change the name for that? No. Anyway, so and then we go for subnet 3. No problem. So now, according to the question here, it says no connection from internet. So now when we are creating those subnets, and then within, let's go to the subnet here, default subnet, and there's a network security group, there's a route table here as well, and then there's a so let's go for network security group. It doesn't allow us to create from within that, so we can just go for, it doesn't mention here the security groups. That should, is that security group? No. So yeah, we have to just go outside and just create that network security group. Network security groups. There's a network security group here, and add. So NSG 1 or NSG 0, and resource group existing, and US East create. Normally NSG is for obviously the virtual machines, since they ask us to create the NSG. Virtual network, VNet Azure, contains subnet connections from the internet. So we'll just make sure that connections are blocked first of all. So, and NSGs, minimum amount of NSGs are used. What should you do from that? They don't really talk about machines connecting to each other. They're not talking about much. So if I just go for how they did that, click create a resource in the portal, enter virtual network in the search virtual network. Okay, now done. Enter the following values in classic. Yeah. Done. That's it. Yeah, okay. As expected, they just leave the solution half. Anyway, let's go ahead. And what was it? Yeah, NSG was created. Refresh. Yeah, NSG 0. When I go inside the NSG 0 here, so there's inbound rules here, right? Inbound security group. Now it is allowing right now our traffic virtual network to virtual network. So within virtual network, so I'm just going to go ahead up there and allow the traffic 3389 destination port and source. So source is not any, it should be IP address, and then whatever is the IP of the other subnets there. So I think it was 10.0, 10 dot actually 2 and 3, right? So 10.2.0.0/24. So now it's not going to accept traffic from outside, right? It's going to accept traffic from this source, which is the other subnet. If there are CIDR ranges there, so it says there as well that you can just put multiple ranges by putting comma here. So if the other subnet is this, so 10.3 dot, I put comma there, and 10.3.0.0. So two CIDR ranges have been given there, actually /24, and the port is 3389. So we are accepting traffic from these two subnets. I think I'm inside the 0 subnet, or I'll attach this NSG to the 0 subnet, and 0 is 10.1.0.0/24. So 10.1.0.0/24 subnet is accepting traffic from 10.2 and 10.3, right? And 3389 is the name. That's it. If I click the security group here, and that's normally attached to the, obviously the virtual machines will be using that. So once it is created, I'll go to the subnets within the security group. I'll go to the subnets and click the associate button here. What is a virtual network? I have VNet 1008. This is what we created for the question. And then how many subnets it has? It has default subnet here, which is 0. I should have named it subnet 0. But so I've selected the VNet as well as the subnet. So I associated this NSG with this subnet, and because of this NSG, it can accept traffic from the other two subnets if I gave the traffic range correct. So this NSG has been connected there. If I just go to that VNet here, virtual network, and yeah, this is our VNet here, VNet 1008. Was it that? Yeah. And if I go to subnets, so yeah, I connected that to 2.1. So oops, not I connected to default 2.0.0 actually. So and so maybe I just put the wrong traffic there, but it's NSG 0 that is attached there. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to create several more security groups there. Was it okay? I'll just go to the security group again, and security group, and I'll just create that other two subnets. But you have to remember the IP. I'm just missing that. I think the default is 200. The other one is 300. I'll just quickly do that and then create two more security groups there for that. So how many subnets I have? What is the IP for that? Subnets. So it's 2.2. So it's 2.1, 2.2, 2.0. So 2.0 should be accepting traffic from 2.2, 2.1 only, not from internet. And 2.2 should be accepting traffic from 2.0 and 2.1 and not the internet. And 2.1 should be accepting traffic from 2.2 and 2.0. That's what we need to create there in this. So if we go for network security group, and I'll just create the second one. Now I'm again gonna, I guess I'll be forgetting that. So subnet one, so it will be NSG1 US East create. So if we keep reading that, yes, it's normally saying minimum amount of NSGs, but if you want the traffic on all subnets through the NSG not to be connected to internet, so these NSGs should be configured in a way that they should accept traffic from only subnets and from no one else. If you put source any, then it would be internet as well. If you put just the IPs of the other subnets, that's it. So they will only accept traffic from each other, and that would be just private traffic. Oh, it's done. Refresh. NSG1, I'll just go inside. Inbound security rule. First of all, it's a Windows machine, so you're accepting traffic from Windows machine there. Inbound security rule, right? And then click add. So we're accepting from other subnets here. So this is subnet NSG1, right? It will be attached to subnet 1. So 10 dot, so it will be accepted traffic from 10.2.0.0 slash 24 comma 10.2.2.0 slash 24. What do I do? Okay, yeah. So it is traffic, expected traffic from any, and destination port group is, okay, so source port ranges is 3389, only Windows traffic, but it is accepting only from those two subnets. And then 3389. Add. First, the network security group is created, then you attach it to the proper subnet as well. So it's kind of tricky. But you have to, if they provide a notepad in the exam or a paper and pencil, just remember your IP addresses there. So subnets, associate, virtual network is 1008, and this time it is NSG. This NSG is connecting to subnet 1, which is accepting traffic from other two subnets, not internet. Okay, done. Now I'm going to create the third NSG. Add NSG1. So guys, do not blindly just follow my IP addresses. I think I'm forgetting those exact IP addresses. So just write down somewhere the IP addresses of the other two subnets and then mention it there. So click create, but it is asking internet traffic. Okay, there's a comment there. It is asking internet traffic to block. Don't you think we need to block port 443? So if it is accepting traffic from only so it's not, first of all, accepting traffic from any IP ranges other than that IP range, which is the IP range of another subnet. So that pretty much blocks it. But yes, if they are mentioning specifically that, no, mention the word block, so definitely that's also a very good point. We can add that as well, because they're going to check your configurations there, and then you will be getting that. So we can just block the traffic as well, because the objective says connections from any of the subnets to the internet must be blocked. Oh, you're right about that. Must be blocked. So just doing that actually does not allow the traffic to the subnets, yes. But yes, the objective says must be blocked. So port 80 and 443 then should be blocked. both of them should be blocked on the same NSGs, right? So inbound rule for that should also add this one as well. You're right. For the ATN 443, yes. For 3389, well, we added 3389 where it's not just mentioning that. This is just for assuming that the machines will be communicating. But definitely, if we stick to the rules here, definitely you're right. We can just simply deny that. No, I allowed only 3389, which is not internet, it is RDP. So but deny rule, yes, it's good. Thank you for reminding that. So I'm just going to go for NSG2 when I'm creating that, and then going to fix that other one as well. So if I click the add button here, so source is still IP address ranges, whichever. And dot, okay, seriously, I'm forgetting again. So this is I think 2.2.0, so it's 2.0.0/24 comma 10.2.1.0/24. And source port ranges, now if we are allowing that, so we have to create another inbound rule to deny it, right? So suppose because I've created two times the 3389 allow rule, so definitely now we're trying to block. So 80 comma 443 whatever else is internet, so we can just block that. Destination any, of course, and destination port ranges. So source port ranges, it's actually, sorry, it's destination port ranges, not the source port ranges here. So it would be star here, 80 comma 443. And yes, you're right. So if you want, so if suppose you are creating 3389 rule, it will still be allowed. But when you create a deny traffic, obviously then, as you said, it's deny here, and it's going to be port 80 comma 443. So yes, the name must begin, okay, it's number, or okay, denied ports, or deny internet, deny must begin with a letter or number. Oh, it should be small case. Deny. Yeah. So yes, you're right. It's kind of a more time-consuming lab, but the main things, if you understand that, I've added the first port 3389, and then yes, you're right. Thanks for mentioning that. Deny rule should be specifically mentioned here and created there. So whatever denies internet connection, port 80 and 443, deny and click add. Although then it should be, I've just mentioned that IP ranges, so internet is not there already, so it could have been denied. But when you're adding a deny rule, so it could be port any there as well. So if I just go down here, like then IP ranges are like malformed IP address invalid. Okay, then if you say any, then it's already denied traffic here, right? Deny any port here, 80 and 443. If you mention those two subnets there, then it's already, there is no internet, because those subnets do not have internet. But if you put any, now it is, you're denying internet connection. Now internet is gone there, right? It should not be there. Yes, it says that this rule denies virtual network access. If you wish to allow access to virtual network, add an inbound port with higher priority to allow virtual network to virtual network. So it's deny internet and port, only this inbound port traffic from that is denied there. So so guys, again, the main thing to understand here would be that you can just instead of allow rule, why don't you just create a deny rule here, create deny, and because of the exam objective, you need to stick to that. Extra configuration may not even have marks, and it will take your time. So instead of just going for allow 3389, which is not even mentioned there, which is understood though that we need to do that, so deny 80 and 443 and connect it to, so that's the first thing you will do, and then connect to your specific subnet, right? Connect to specific. Now in this case, one more thing is achieved, because if we are doing that and it's exactly the same thing, because now we're not mentioning the specific subnet, right? Connect to specific subnet. Let me just show that now. The objective was, it just came into my mind, so don't be confused. I'm going to explain you now. So objective is that number of network security groups rules must be minimized, right? So connections from any subnets must be blocked. So we did block that. So inbound and connections from the subnets to the internet and internet to any subnets. So this means outbound port should also be blocked, right? We're just it's still going for and minimizing NSGs as well. So when you do not mention specific subnets there, then one NSG can connect to all three subnets, right? So if I go back there, now inbound rule denies 8443, but outbound does not deny that. So I'm gonna click outbound rules. I'm gonna click add, and source port range, destination port range here also any 80, 443, deny, and then deny internet. 1. So I'm just going for outbound as well. Now this is one NSG that got created. Now this is kind of an evolving answer. It's not, this is the answer that I would just recommend at the end, because now we can achieve one NSG for three subnets instead of three NSGs for three subnets. So one NSG, we define the inbound port to be denying 80 and 443, and then the outbound port to be denying 80 and 443. Now this one NSG can be attached to all three subnets. If I click the subnets here and go to associate and then go to virtual network, VNet 1008, and then I'm just attaching the same one. So this means I have to remove the other one, right? So default, and so that same rule denying inbound outbound port 80 and 443 to the subnet 1, then the default is added there to this NSG, then associate again within the same NSG. I'm associating again, and that would be 1008, and the subnet 1, I'm just associating the same thing to the second NSG to the, that is right, it's asking to minimize NSG and block 443 and 80. Yeah, exactly. So then we can associate this one again, third time, the same NSG, which is denying and allowing, which is denying both inbound and outbound ports to exactly the same, and this time I'm just attaching it to third subnet as well. So this is what we would have gone through the first time, but it's an evolving. Thanks for your help as well to resolve this. So some of those I was saying at the start as well that I'm not sure what exact labs this time it's coming. They keep changing the labs as well, and you should give that as soon as possible before they change the labs again. So it could be any scenario anytime, right? Okay guys, so let's go for next one, and 140, then we go to 153, and you're saying it is okay. So you plan to allow connections between VNet to ensure mentions. Okay, yeah, that's just private IP address. Okay, and then we go for next page. 156 as well. We are okay with page 156 as well. You're saying okay, that's this, and then we go for 170. Okay, so what is 170? You plan to deploy several Azure virtual machines and to connect them to virtual network named VNet 1007. Do you need to ensure that future virtual machines on VNet 107 can register their name in an internal DNS zone named corp the zone must not be hosted on our virtual machine. So it should be internal DNS zone. What should you do from Azure Cloud Shell? Oh, okay. Now that is, yes. So we need to create DNS through PowerShell, exactly. And start Cloud Shell, blah, 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 click Linux. And so new Azure resource record. Before you create the DNS zone, create a resource group, yeah. Then new RM DNS zone, yeah. And then DNS zone is created by using the commandlet. This creates a DNS zone called is a resource group. Well, that's pretty much it. So we need to run first this command to create a resource group. Then you need to run this command to create actually this named DNS zone, and that is and then, well, that's it. This command needs to be run. That will create a DNS zone for, and that is not a virtual machine based DNS zone. You just create a DNS zone. If it command works, this command works, you're good. So let's do that. And where are we? Yeah. If I go to a virtual network here, I'm just gonna open the Cloud Shell. This one. Yeah. So and I'll be as you go. Wow, is it even creating? Okay. Initializing your account for Cloud Shell. Succeeded. Connecting terminal. Okay, so while it is connecting, so I'll just go for first of all new Azure RMS. Well, that's the only thing I need to do actually, because I can just add it to the resource group name, which is existing resource group instead of. So I'll just put it on Notepad first of all and change it to the existing resource group that I have. I'll go to resource groups here. I have 29 July. So can I copy this name? Yes. Go to Notepad and change it to, and okay, so that command is ready. And new Azure, so the zone blah 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 is not available. New Azure RM DNS Zone.com minus resource group is not available. Okay, so that, wow, okay, that was it. But yeah, this one is so I'll just go back here, and I think we have to just come up with our own. So is not available now. Of course, we're creating a new one. Why is it saying it's not available? But let's get going again. And new horizon. Okay. .com. Okay. They insist that it has to be created as .com. So it should be just creating that instead of saying not available. And the zone corp is not available. New Azure. Okay, maybe that commandlet is not the zone. No, it's the zone actually. New Azure RM DNS zone. So if I just copy this quickly and go to that internet, so this is the same way to put that set. Set means you make a change to an existing one, and new RMS DNS zone is the same. New RMS DNS zone minus name. Okay, there's no commas there. So the example on the internet says, yeah, we have to put commas. Minus name, there's no commas here. Okay, I'll just add commas. Quotes there, and is not available. Are you kidding me? Okay. This was created by using the new this creates Dns Zone called this in the resource group called. Really? I'll just go again, check it out. What else is wrong? Minus resource group. Okay, there's a comma there as well, but it says not available. So $zone, they're creating a variable first, and then this command creates a new DNS zone named by the and then stores it in the $zone. So I don't want to store it in the $zone variable. Just want to create a new zone, and this is the only way to create it. So maybe my Cloud Shell is not working, guys. If anyone can try that on your side, then does it just simply create a zone? So new. Okay, I'll just use exactly this command, although as I can use any one of those and it should not matter at all. You know, sometimes copy paste doesn't really work, so I should still try it. And then okay, new dash Azure RM DNS, then tab, and then zone minus name carp 91727 9172795.com. Maybe somebody already created with this name, change the name. Now the question says, yes, you're right. Although it says something else, but it could be misleading as well. And somebody may have put 1 as well. So 1122. I'll just go for that. You're right. But it should say I already exist instead of that not available. Or not available could mean exactly that it's not available for you to create because somebody created that. And then yeah, that my resource group, I'll just delete all the resource groups later. Seriously, my resource group could not be found. Okay, so that resource group 1 could not be found. Now it's not liking my resource group. So resource group name, I'll just go for maybe it's an existing one. So because we did not create a resource group, that's why. Okay, so 29 July 16 29 July 2019 RG. Okay, yeah, it was the new name and it has to be existing resource group. You're right. Alright guys, so that's it. Oh wow, okay, so that's it. And okay, woohoo, did it. So any question, comments, let me know. And let's I'm gonna stop the video and rendering takes like 1 hour.